Hello everyone, Kim here. I hope you all are doing well. Happy New Year to you and your families. I know it's been a while, so I just wanted to catch up. So this particular video today, I wanted to talk about my diagnosis, the breast cancer diagnosis, the first time around and then the second time around. So if the video goes too long as I talk about the first diagnosis, I'll cut it off and then I'll make a part two for the second diagnosis, okay? So here we go. So I'm 49. I just turned 49 a month ago. So from this past December, I was diagnosed almost 14 years ago with breast cancer. It's not genetic for me because they did BRCA testing to determine that it wasn't anything that was genetic. It was more of a mutated gene for me. So just one of those unlucky ones that got a cancer. So again, I was diagnosed almost 14 years ago. And we can do the math. Again, I'm 49 now. It'll be 14 years in April since the first diagnosis. So first time around for me, again, I wasn't old enough to do mammograms. So I actually found the lump myself. So just one night sleeping in bed as I was lying on my stomach, I felt something really tender, like in the right breast area, So didn't really think anything of it. No one has ever really talked about breast cancer or cancer in my family, my doctors. Again, I was too young to get mammograms, so I didn't think anything of it. So I want to say probably it went on for a few more weeks. I felt, again, just a tender lump. So I called my gynecologist just to say, hey, I just want to get in. I want you to check on something that I'm not sure of. So I get to her. She also noticed the lump and everything. And she said, you know what, I love her. She's someone that I've been with for a very, very long time. So I trust her. One thing she said was, you know what, I'm sure this isn't anything, but since there is a lump there, I need to get you in to, see or get a mammogram right away. Okay, fine. Again, I didn't think anything of it. There was no worry for me. I just wanted to get it looked into. So I want to say maybe a few days later, I got in to see the radiologist, get a mammogram. As I was getting the mammogram, they said, okay, they didn't tell me anything. Like everything was just kind of mum. So what they did is they took me, after they did the mammogram, they took me in the back to like this x-ray room, laid me on the table. And what they did is they started to check underneath my arms. Again, I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything about, I know about lymph nodes, but I didn't know how breast cancer can go to lymph nodes, etc. So he started to check my lymph nodes and things under my arm. And right away, keep in mind, I'm at this appointment by myself. This was just a random appointment for me. I didn't tell my mom or anyone that I was going. So after he did his check under my arm, I sat on the table. He walked out, he came back in and he said, you know what, I'm sorry to tell you this, but I need to get you in to see a breast cancer or a breast surgeon. That's what he said right away, because it looks like breast cancer to me. I was in shock. I didn't say anything. I started to tear up, but I was still just not knowing what type of emotions to have. The first thing that I said to him was, does this mean that I'm dying? Does this mean that I'm going to die? He said, no, you're not going to die, but we need to get you in to see a breast surgeon right away. So fast forward, I want to say maybe a week or so, they got me in to do a biopsy. So the doctor did a biopsy. They took the sample from the tissue. And at that point, they determined that it was breast cancer. So from there, my life just moved fast forward, everything just moved very quickly. So just making it fast forward and going a little further. So I was diagnosed with, they also did a check on my lymph nodes. How did we do this? I'm so sorry. Once they did, so after that, they did a PET scan just because they wanted to make sure that the cancer didn't go anywhere else in my body. And thankfully it didn't. Something lit up in the middle of my chest, but they, researched it to determine that it wasn't cancer. So fine, we move forward. However, my oncologist and everyone else, they did feel the nodules or the lumps underneath my arm to determine that it did go to lymph nodes. They just didn't know how many lymph nodes, what was the impact, etc. So again, PET scan was done. I was clear there. So from there, what they decided to do is, because of my lymph nodes, what they saw with my lymph nodes, they were all clustered. So basically they were just in a big ball, just clustered up, clustered up very badly. So instead of going to surgery right away, just because he told me that if I go to surgery right away, there's a high risk of complications, because they needed the lymph nodes to loosen up and be more pliable. So they wanted to put me through all of my chemo first to see if it would loosen up and shrink the lymph nodes. And then from there, surgery. So at any rate, did so many rounds of chemo. And in the middle of chemo, my oncologist did check, did another scan on me just to make sure the lymph nodes were loosening up like he wanted them to do. And they did indeed do exactly what he needed. So that was better. So again, got through chemo. After that, I went through the entire mastectomy. From there, then radiation. Also, for 10 years, I was on tamoxifen, which is the hormone med. And after I got off of tamoxifen, I want to say in 2020 or 2021. I want to say maybe 2021, 2023 is when I got a diagnosis for a recurrence of the cancer. So what I'll do, I'll stop this video here shortly, just to find out if you all have any questions on part 1, the first journey. Then I'll make a video to document and tell you about the second journey, which once again, I pretty much found the cancer myself, or at least I identified what it was. The doctors came back to say, oh, it looks like just a dermocyst. But again, I'll save that part to the next video, because I'll be going really into how important it is to be an advocate for yourself and push. I'm so thankful that I don't want to say I'm thankful for the first journey. I am, because I've learned a lot from the first journey. It's taught me to be a huge advocate for myself. And if something doesn't sound right, or if I have questions, I know to ask them, and just to stop people in their tracks to say, hey, this doesn't make sense to me. I need you to explain this. Or I know enough now to say, hey, but what about these options? I didn't know that the first time around, and I pretty much just sat back, let them do whatever they needed to do, because the only thing I knew is that I needed to live. I have 2 sons, and at that time, my youngest was 1.5 and my oldest was 13. So I knew I needed to live. I didn't question too much about my treatments. But this time around, this second journey, totally different story. And again, I'll go to another video about that, and then we can talk about it, and you let me know if you have any questions. And also too, if you have any experiences or different things that you want to share, we can go from there. Okay. But thank you so much. I'll cut this video now because I believe it's getting too long, and I don't want to be a rambler, which it sounds like I am. Okay. Have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.